Hello, good morning, students. Welcome, all of you, in this session. I think so. You have seen the course given in the portal, half yearly course. Go through that. Already the course has been completed. Revision videos will be uploaded to you. You have to revise. That is, in that exam, multiple choice, objective type questions, descriptive type questions will be given. In the descriptive type questions, you can click the photos or you can type, but there will be time limit will be given to you. In that time limit only you have to complete the portion. That is why you should be very smart in that. And this is the new mode. Enjoy this, learn new things. We are also learning, you also learn new things. Now we will start the new poem, The Gift of India, written by Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu, 1879, born, died in 1949, was a patriot of great follower of Gandhiji and his principles of non-violence. She was a child in the galaxy of the intellectuals in the literary world. Beside being linguist, she was her credit a number of poems that reflect her love for her country. She has written many other poems, that is, Bazaars in Hyderabad, then Palanquin Bearer. All these poems might you have read also. The Gift of India was written in 1915 when the British were engaged in World War I. Indian youth positively responded to the Mahatma Gandhi's call to cooperate with the British. This poem is written when the First World War was been going on. That time this Sarojini Naidu has, with an emotion, with a patriotic thought, she has written this poem. Went to the distant battlefields. In the poem, Sarojini Naidu expresses her sentiments toward the Indian martyrs. This is about the Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was an Indian political activist and poet, a proponent of civil rights, women's emancipation, and anti imperialistic ideas. She was an important figure in Indian struggle for independence from colonial rule. That is, when there was and Britishers were there, from that she was being seeing all these things. Naidu's work as a poet earned her the sobriquet Nightingale of India. She has got the title of Nightingale of India by whom? By Mahatma Gandhi. Now about the poem. The Gift of India. About the poem. The Gift of India is a poem written in 1915 by the Indian poet, freedom fighter and politician Sarojini Naidu. The poem is a tribute to the contribution of Indian soldiers in World War I. That is, there are 1 million people has participated as in that 10 lakh Indian soldiers from British India Empire served in the allied forces, not in their own land, but it is an allied forces in the First World War. A vast number of them sacrificed. Nearly something, it is 75 million people. Some are being wounded, some of them are injured, some of their body was been scattered here. That is 75, it is approximately 70 to 75 million people also died in that war. Indian troops fought in different locations of significance to the Allied strongholds and had an important share in many of the battles throughout the course of the war. However, the contribution of Indian soldiers is overlooked in the vast expanse of the war's history. This selfless sacrifice as of the Indian soldiers for the Western agitations are captured in Naidu's poem, The Gift of India. The poem not only concentrates on the theme of the soldiers making their ultimate sacrifice for someone else war, but also talks about the numerous benefits the foreign country reap from India. They are not so telling about only the sacrifices, but many things which has been given by India, food, clothing, gold, everything was being sent to the British, to the England and many other places. The poet regard this benefit as a gift given by India to the colonizers, that is to the Britishers. The poet is saying that is many big gift has been given, gold, clothes, everything has been given, and they have what they in return they got means sacrifice their the language of the poem. The poem Gift of India has a simple and the rhyming scheme is A, B, C, C. Each of the stanza have 6 lines are there. When the first line introduce either an idea or create a pure and the next 2 lines build up of them, the final 2 presents a sort of small conclusion to the stanza. The poem has an entire piece, has a subtle flow in there where Mother of India herself proclaimed proudly her gift to the West. That is Mother India. Mother India is about the whole. It is not about one person. It is Mother India. It has been telling about the Mother India. How proudly she has been sending their sons to the West, to the Africa, to West place, East place, everywhere she has been sending. The first stanza introduces the various gifts India has bestowed upon the colonizers, which include both its rich and people. The second stanza focuses more on the wistful state of material Indian soldiers. Third stanza talks of the grief those dead have brought. And finally, the fourth stanza is a sort of appeal to honor the sacrifice of the Indian soldiers for the cause of the war. In this way, this is the gist of the summary of the poem. Now, the gift of India, you can see the picture how the people are been lying, some of them scattered here and there. Now, one by one, I will read the paragraph and I will explain this. Is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Rich gift of raiment. Raiment is a cloth, or grain or gold. Lo, I flung to the east and west, priceless treasures torn from my breast, and yielded the son of my stricken womb. Stricken womb means it is not only the mother's womb, it is about the mother earth. From the mother earth, how many sons has been gone? Two drum beats of duty, the sabers of doom. I've underlined this word. This is the rhyming words. Withhold, gold, A, west, breast, B, womb, doom, C, like this. Now the explanation of this stanza. The first stanza begins with the Mother India asking if there are any more sacrifice left for her to make. That is asking. The question is there any more sacrifice to make? She has given the world rich gift of clothes. That is, she was been saying. But Sarojini Naidu is saying that she has given everything: gold, cloth, gold, precious things, precious stones, food grains, everything has been given. Any more things left over? India has flung priceless treasures of her land and to the countries of east and west, to the South Africa, next west, everywhere that is been, there are treasures. Who are the treasures? Are the priceless treasures, their sons, their things, everything has been sent. Moreover, she has sent her son, not only the things, but she has sent her sons, that is the youth of her land. There are many innocent people, young people has went for the war. Mother is sending in the sons to the battlefield with happiness, with joy. Fight someone else war. That is someone's else war. Someone's means that is the allied power where that is not their land but they are been going to some other place to fight. She questions more can the nation of the world expect her to give them. That is she is asking what more they have to give. What more force. Now this chapter, this poem is it is about a patriotic poem. It is about the First World War and they are being forcibly participating in the war. That is the tone, and the tone is the it is about the about many of the millions of people who has in the battlefield. What are the sacrifices? How many people had died in that war? World expect to give them. That is she asking how much they have to give, how much sacrifice they have to give. In order to understand these lines, we must look at the India's history. That is, if you know the history about that time, you have to read 1915 what was happened in the First World. Then you will get more detail about that. In the middle of the World War First, when India was still under the that is this when we are under the British rule, a lot of Indian soldiers employed in the British forces fought in the World War for the Allies. The poem can be seen as a poet homage of these soldiers under the British rule. India was exploited for its riches and resources. They are being exploited by the Britishers. Whatever they are asking, India is been serving them. They are giving to the British, to the England, serving. They are sending. Here the poet acknowledge that is this fact. The very first line of the poem shows India's sentiment of anger and the question, is it not enough that I have given everything? Now the first stanza is about the we have read. Now the second stanza. Gathered like pearls in their alien graves, silent like sleep by Persian waves, scattered. Now here it is like uh, scatter, silent, scattered. That is what are these poetic literary devices? Alliteration. Like, that is the repetition. Like shells on Egypt. Like shells is a simile. Shells of Egyptian sand. They lie with pale brows and brave broken hands, pale brows, forehead, and their hands are being broken. They are striven like an blossom. Blossom means the rose, that is the flower which is been blooming. Mound down by chance, which is been cut down, but which are been, that is the poet is been written. Like means here the simile is there. On the blood brown meadows of Flanders and France. Flanders is a Dutch speaking in the Belgium. That is here also. Uh, Now the explanation. The second stanza of the Gift of India, the speaker, the Mother India, shows the sacrifice of Indian soldiers from different angles. These brave soldiers who fought and gave up their lives are buried in the mass grave in the foreign, not in their countries. They have died in the another countries where they died. They are away from their homeland land, and even their bodies did not get the comfort of final resting. They are not getting the final burial also. They are being, some of them buried, some of them are in the sand, some of them are in this way they are being resting in their own motherland. The speaker says that they sleep by Persian waves. They scattered like shells on Egyptian sands. That is the reference to the Persian, the Egypt, the Flanders, and France. Highlight that these were the major theaters of where the Indian soldiers fought against the Ottoman Empire. The Persian waves in North America, Egyptian sands and the western fronts, meadows of Flanders and France. Flanders are the Dutch speaking. The speaker says that these dead bodies, soldiers, lie with pale brows and brave, broken hands, further intensifying the image of death and devastation. The bodies are scattered like carelessly trimmed flowers blossom mown down by chance in the battlefield of Flanders and France. The poet uses the word by chance, speaks that in her eyes the soldiers did not deserve to die. They are not wanting to die, but they are by chance they had been died. Also, the comparison, the simile here of the warriors to blossom signifies how the motherland sees them as a valuable human resource. Blood brown meadows expresses the horrors of war and war fronts in the people poetic language. Thus, completely contrasting with the subject, it poses an apt metaphor. That is, metaphor is means that is a contradiction is there between the that is the metaphor. That is the three devices just now literary devices: simile, illustration, and then metaphor. Next, third stanza. Can he measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep, or the pride that thrills through my heart despair, and the hope that comfort the anguish of prayer, and the far set glorious vision I see of the toned red banners of victory. Now, the first stanza is been about the they are saying that is how much they have been given. Then afterward the sacrifices, what are the glorious visions, what are the sad things. In the last two paragraph, the grief has been the tears, the weeping of the mother, all these things has been described in the third stanza. In the third stanza of The Gift of India, the speaker talks to the foreign countries. That is, speaker talks to the foreign countries. She asks them, she's been asking to the foreign countries if they can measure her grief. That is, the poet in the Sarojini Naidu is saying the war is bringing the death. That is, if the war is there, means there is an death is there is an grief is there is an sorrow is there is tears are there. Measures her grief and her tears, or know her woe, her suffering when she watches all this. When she watches the things, the tears in the mother's eyes, everything when she felt very sorry for that. She says that they can never fathom the pride that thrills throughout her heart in spite of her despair. The poet suggests that the speaker, despite her sadness and deep rooted anguish, is proud of her sons who have fought bravely and brought victory. She gives expression to the voice of countless Indian mothers. That is, she has been voice. That is, there are many mothers who has given their sons to the country. They have sacrificed their sons to the country, whose sons have fought in the war. The poet says that people of warring nations can never comprehend. The people cannot, these things we cannot compare with anything. We cannot say anything about that. This is no limit for that. No words for that. Small hope of comfort. This mother from the pain of praying for their sin. There she's still praying. She's not crying, she's praying, she's happy. That is that why she's having the in her heart the tears are there. She's been wounded, but still she's been happy. That is her sons have been fought for the country. She asks if they can understand the vision of glory she sees. It is sad because she has lost her son for it. Torn red banners of victory, which has come at the expense of so much blood, is sad and meaningless to her. That is, she has been saying, and she was happy that is the sons has been sacrificed their life for the country, but in the second side, has lost her sons also. Now she is asking, Sarojini Naidu is how much sacrifice they have given. Still, you want anything? The World War, what are a drastic, what are the, uh, what type of things which has been happened during that time? When we see that thing, when we think about, when we imagine, we cannot imagine that things also, what type of things which has been happened in the First World War, the participation of the people. When the terror and the tumult of hate shall cease, and life be refashioned on anvils of peace, and your love shall offer memorable thanks to the comrades who fought in the dauntless ranks, and you honor the deeds of deadless ones. Remember the blood of my martyr son. In the last stanza of the poem, the speaker talks about the peace after the war and the martyrdom of the countless soldiers, the terror and tumult of hate which has created the war shall end, and there will be peace. Now they have been saying if the war will end, then there will be peace will be there. But when there is a war, it will be a terror will be there. Life will be refashioned. It will go back to normal with a drastic new changes. Again, there after the war, there will be another lifestyle will be there. People will pay their respect to the dead who fought in the war and the comrades in many ranks who gave their life. They will be honored, they will be given medals and all these things. But what there when you see their other side of the other scene, when you see that is something very much painful. They will honor the deeds of those soldiers who will never be forgotten. When such a time of peace comes, the speaker asks that blood of her martyr sons be remembered as well, that they be honored as well. They should not be forgotten from. My Sarojini Naidu is saying how much that is during that World War. Not only that World War, it is one country. There are many wars. How many peoples have died in that? How many treasures we have given? Then also we have poet has been in this. There are some words are been the Egyptians and Persian waves. All these words you have to use it. There are new words are there, new thing love words, you have to remember that things. And when you are explaining the stanzas, you have to explain that also by that words. The poem The Gift of India started as a celebration of India's contribution to the cause of others, but it ends up as a strong war poem, concentrating both on evils of distraction wars bring, mourning, as well as courage, honor, and recognition of heroes. They are the heroes of our today's children. They are the heroes. As always, Naidu poem arouses a sense of pride and patriotism in the hearts of our countrymen. In this poem, there are number of literary devices are there. Personification is there, simile is there, metaphor, alliteration, oxymoron, and there are many other devices also has been there. Uh, we will see one by one. First one is personification. It is a figure of speech in which an inanimated object, that is living comparing to the non-living. Abstract I, we have read this personification with the attributes of living beings. The most evident example of personification in this poem is observed when the country India is given the emotion and attribute of a mother. The entire poem is narrated in the first person narrative. For example, she calls the Indian soldiers her priceless treasures, torn from her breast. Other instances are personification are remember the blood of my martyrs son. Can you measure the grief of tears I weep, or compose the woe of the watch I can keep? Then the next literary device is metaphor. In the gift of India, metaphor is a figure of speech in which a comparison is there between two different things, implied but not clearly stated. For instance, in the poem, the Indian soldiers are compared to priceless treasures. Then the third one is simile. The gift of India, it is a figure of speech that is simile in which the similarities between two different objects is stated as or like. For example, the gathered dead bodies of Indian soldiers in their graves are compared to the pearls, that is, they are being compared to the pearls in their shells. Gathered like pearls, that like, scattered like on Egyptian, that is comparing. Striven like blossom, that is, it has been compared to the blossom. Then alliteration, that is repetition of the consonant sound. Silent like sleep, scattered like shells. Then pale, brave, broken hands. Rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is question asked in order to create a dramatic impact or make a point rather than to get an answer. An instance of rhetoric can be seen in the line, can ye measure the grief of tears I weep? Oxymoron. It is a figure of speech in which two contradictory terms appears together. For example, that is far, sad, glorious vision. That is contradiction is there. Far glorious vision. Far glorious vision I see. Thank you, students. This poem has been completed. Question answers will be given. The attached file explanation also has been given. You see the video once more time, then you can understand. Paragraph wise explanation also has been given this time. Go through that. Thank you, student. Have a good day ahead.